There we
Here we go. What's up, Vancouver? Happy 2026.
Yes, sir. How you doing, bro? I feel like I just saw you.
Yeah, that was a productive day, hey?
Yeah. So we just pretty much got back from UBC, our radio interview and freestyle session, or cypher session, rather.
Yeah. That was dope.
And that was good in a little business meeting.
Yeah.
And then you went and got a cheesesteak.
Yeah, it was epic. I got the one with bacon on it this time. I'm gonna like shuffle through the whole menu, but yeah, that was proper for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that place out Saturday. I love a Philly cheesesteak. I'm gonna have to rate them though, cause you know I'm authentic with it.
Yeah, out in Jersey, you probably
got
some pretty legit.
So I'm gonna check it out, and I'll be like, if it's
if it's Philly worthy.
Yeah. I want my Philly people looking at me like, bro.
Yeah, they probably would.
Yeah.
Just cause
They pick you like that.
I hear Philly people getting critical over like real certified places, and they'll be like saying the other one's like trash, and it's like so not trash.
Yeah. So 2026, here we are.
Yeah. In spite of.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank, right?
Oh, it's spooky out there. We on spooky hours for real.
Yeah.
But so we got a lot of things lined up this year, you know?
Yeah. It's all just kind of starting to like download into my brain, like the big picture keeps zooming out.
Yeah.
More and more because everything's getting bigger and bigger. So yeah, it's pretty exciting, man. I'm not gonna say I'm surprised. I'm just, I'm acknowledging that it's starting to feel different. I like it.
Yeah, and I really like being able to go to Dip. Shout out to Dip.
Yeah,
clothing store. Been
Vancouver
around
institution.
Been around 25 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's huge.
Yeah.
For a hip-hop clothing store,
man, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
Especially in a city like Vancouver. Like, I don't know. Some places, they're always going to be able to have a hip-hop store. But, like, Vancouver, you know, like, I remember what it was like out here, like, you know, like pre-Drake era. You know what I mean? Like, So just the fact that Vancouver's gone through so many transformations and so many different eras, yet that remains, that's all. Like, even the fashions changed, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I copped this hat there today. Shout out to Van City Originals. But I remember, like, it wasn't like the last time that I copped something, but like maybe the time before, so like 3 times back or whatever, I was buying like the wooden necklaces. Remember like the wooden like cassette tape?
Yeah.
Shit, you know, like, and I got a cassette tape and like a Wu-Tang W, but they don't sell those no more. Like there it is, like the fashion even changes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they've been through everything and they've still stayed. And the quality has never dipped either.
Yeah.
You see what I did there?
like I was saying earlier, when I started coming up to Vancouver, probably 99. And I say early 2000, when me and my peoples would come up, that was one of the spots. We got to hit up Dip, get some Timberlands, get some, you know what I mean? And then we'd be out in them streets. But that was the old day. That's back in the day.
Yeah, Dip's been around since you couldn't get hip-hop clothes out
here. Yeah.
They were the only one. I was from Vancouver Island, so I'm never getting shit. Like Jordan brand is like the closest like to anything that. Like, you didn't even sell Timberlands and shit back in, like, the 90s on the island, you know what I mean? Everything hip-hop, so every time you came here for something, it's like you got to, like, stop and, like, cop something cool that, you know, no one else is going to have back home.
That's how it was in Jersey and New York. Like, we would go to Delancey Street and in New York and get the gear and then come back around the way in Jersey.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just for that week or two before it started spreading out, you want to be the one who had it first.
Yeah, you wanted to be the pioneer.
Yeah. So again, man, shout out to Mahalia, my Cypher show, UBC for having us. Shout out to Hard Body Dreams, King Wise for coming through and spitting bars. You know, it's Black History Month, and I think people, I don't know, people really understand the impact of hip hop and this expression of black people. Like I was saying on the radio, you know, it's a tradition. It's a cultural tradition that goes back to slavery. You know what I mean? When we were singing Negro spirituals, back then we was like, man, these people tripping. You know what I mean? And here we are, 2026, we still saying these people tripping. But even when you take it back, you know, when we mentioned the griots earlier, West Africa, you know what I mean? So it's been this cultural expression that's been documenting our journey and our struggle, you know, and hip hop, I feel like, is just kind of the grandchild of that.
Well, like, this kind of ties to something like one of my hip hop homies. He's an Aboriginal artist, goes by the name of Mass. But man, like we would be in the studio and he would have like the craziest like deep conversations, and like so he broke this down for me one time, and he's like, because I'm Polynesian and he's Aboriginal, and we're doing hip hop, which is like not our culture but another culture, and like he's like the one common denominator is the drums. He's like, our ancestors all listened to the drums. He's like, oh man, I'm gonna try not to get emotional for a second. He's like, we wept to drums. We prepared for war to drums. We had ceremonies for like harvest and like births and like funerals, weddings, everything. He's like, it's ingrained in our DNA. And he said, we need to listen. So this is when, so this is a tangent from when we were like blazing. We're outside the studio, and like it was like a windy night in the summer, and like the trees, you could just like hear them swaying and stuff. He's like, you gotta listen to the trees. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking he's on some like Aboriginal tip that I'm not really gonna get, right? But then he's like, no, we all listen to the trees because our ancestors who listened and were part of the drums just like we are, they passed and their bodies came back to the earth and fed the trees. And now those same molecules are parts of the trees. Like the trees are our relatives, not just my people, like your people in your lands. Like trees are all of our heritage from where we came and stuff. And I was like, I almost started crying that moment. I almost started crying trying to tell a story again right now.
Yeah, I feel like we are disconnected from nature and our roots.
But the drums bring us back. It's a primal instinct. We feel it. You know?
Which is why I'm so happy to have these guests here. So Hogan's Alley Society, we started kind of working with y'all last year, and they put together some events, invited us out, and I was like, yo, we got to have them on here.
Well, the cool thing is when we were having the meeting after the radio thing today, when we were talking about the podcast and stuff, that's when I kind of realized, so like, you guys had there was one of those Tellus documentaries or whatever about Hogan's Alley, and I watched it because I was just surfing through the TV, you know, like the local favorites or whatever, like that one random menu tab no one ever checks out. I check it out because I'm a local artist, so I'm curious to see what else is out there in the community. So I actually already watched that documentary. I was blown away. Like Ella Fitzgerald came through, like Louis Armstrong, Sammy Davis Jr. learned to dance there. Like, so that's kind of cool because I super remember it. Like, it left an imprint when I watched that. So this kind of like a full circle moment because it's kind of cool that I was like, oh, we should like somehow try to connect to like those people that did that, and like here it is.
Yeah.
So that's super dope, man. It was kind of meant to be, I guess.
So thank you both for joining us. And we can go ahead and start with Aisha to the microphone.
Okay, and I'll dip over here till the second half.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. It was crazy, like bumping into you at the show at
The Fox.
The Fox.
Yes.
Seeing Jasperka. Shout out to my man Noah and Jasperka.
So good.
Yeah.
I'm clapping. I don't know if they can hear me, but I'm clapping.
They were getting down. Everybody was in there.
Yes.
It was packed. It was nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
But it's just good to see other people out supporting local artists. So how you doing?
Doing good. You know, it's my first time on a radio show, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Happy.
Excited to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, man, thank y'all for doing what y'all do. And you know, so what? How's 26 treating you? I mean, it's still kind of early.
Honestly, it's been going pretty good. Like, it was my birthday in December. So I started off the new year in a new age. So I'm telling myself all these new things. I'm like, oh, 2026, we're going to do this. But then I just like low-key mid-January, I was like, it's just too much expectations. And I was like, you know what? We're just going to settle with one and we're going to bet on ourselves for 2026. Yeah, because I just think like, it's easy to just believe what everyone tells you and like if they're pouring into you and they're proud of you. But if you don't have that for yourself, like if you're not pouring to yourself, then it's just like you're going to depend on other people. And then when they don't have much to give, you're going to feel like I don't have anything in me. So I'm sticking with betting on myself. So I guess it's going pretty good. Yeah,
that should be the motto for 2026.
Yeah,
betting on yourself.
Bet on yourself, everyone. It's
like
important.
That.
Yeah.
I like that. So how long have you been with Hogan's Alley?
I joined May 2024, so a year and like I don't even know. I want to say 6 months. I'm not good with math. So a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
And what made you want to join the cause?
So when I did like marketing in university.
Okay.
And so while I was there, I was like, okay, obviously after I graduate, like I'm going to work for a marketing agency and I'm going to like, 9 to 5 corporate baddie, like that's what I'm going to do. But then I was like, okay, you know what? This is the rest of my life, basically. I don't want to do that. And I was like, that's not what I want to do at all. And throughout my time at UBC, I was part of the Black Student Union.
Okay.
And so even when my first year was like COVID, I was like literally like online, like with the Black Student Union. And because I'm from Victoria. And when I was growing up, I was like, there are no Black people here. And when I moved, I stand for Victoria, but I just grew up there as a child. Oh yeah, there are like no people of color. Yeah, anyways, but I'm from Nigeria. So when I moved here, my family and I were like, where are all the Black people at? Like, and you get it. Like Miss Alta's nodding her head in the background, but she gets it. And we were like, what's going on? So when I was going to university, first I was like, I gotta find a place with more Black people, and I chose Vancouver. I chose I didn't know a lot. Yeah. And so like obviously. Maybe we'll get into this later, but it's obviously by design. That's why there aren't Black people here. But so I was like, okay, what do I actually enjoy doing? Because this is something I want to do for the rest of my life. And I enjoy organizing. Like I enjoy organizing events. And my mom was like, you really like nonprofit. You've always been volunteering since you were a kid and like all these other things. And I was like, oh, that's so true. And then I also was like, I want to work with Black community. And I had this belief that only would exist in university, like with UBC. But then I was like, I was at the Black Bloc Party, so it's an event that happens like every year. Yeah, yep. And so the summer before I graduated, it was happening, and my now boss was on the stage speaking. I was like, wait, I've never heard of this organization. I didn't know there was a Black community in Vancouver. So while I was still in my last year of university, I was like, okay, I want to work with them. It didn't end up happening. So when I graduated, a position opened up, and I was like, wait, y'all want me? I know you do. Yeah, and I was like, I'm gonna put it in the universe. I'm gonna get this job. And it's gonna work out. And thanks to the universe, thanks to God, and it worked out. And I just was happy to get a job at an organization that's really about community and like really about community care, community oriented, and also like supporting people from a culturally informed lens, which is so important, especially in a city that teaches you that you're isolated and you get so stuck in that mindset, right? Like in Vancouver, it's so easy to get stuck in the mindset. Anyways, I'm on a tangent, but yeah.
No, yeah. and that's what this show is about. It's just about having good, honest discussion.
Real, okay.
Perfect. And that's what, because even we were talking earlier, like with the shows, because, some of my music content can be political.
Real, as it should be.
Yeah, because I come up on Public Enemy, Poor Righteous Teachers, and all that. So us performing, I was really surprised that a lot of the young kids it resonates.
Yeah.
And I think what it is that we do a disservice to the youth when we try to filter the information that we give to them. No, we need the younger generation to filter it on their own. Just give them the truth. Because when you start trying to filter and say, okay, you can know this, but you don't need to know that, then that's manipulation.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things you want to do is just have an honest discussion and talk about real stuff.
I agree. That's so important.
And it was funny that you said I didn't know about the organization until a couple of years ago. I remember seeing the Ill Billboard, and didn't really know much about that area, but my wife had signed me up for it was not a march, but a gathering of black men.
Yes, yeah.
And cause she was like, same thing. I'm like, yo, I want to link up with brothers and sisters and da da da. Cause I'm from the States. I'm coming up here. I'm Black Canadian. Oh, the mic breaking. This mic is still.
Oh no.
So that's why we over here, because this mic is.
Summer 2025. Oh no.
But yeah. But so I went to that that event, and it was so educational. I learned so much, and again, that's why I was like, yeah, we got to have you guys come and tell us about the organization. So how long has it been around?
So it officially incorporated, I believe, in 2017.
Okay.
As a nonprofit, so it was working with just board members, but their official staff member, I believe, started in 2023, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be our boss started in about that time. So like Hogan's Alley Society stems from the work of the Hogan's Alley Working Group, or let me backtrack a little. It stems from the work of the Hogan's Alley Memorial Project, which then became the working group, and then it became Hogan's Alley Society. So this has been a lot of grassroots work in community that's been going on for like decades, actually. So it started with folks who were really interested in daylighting the history of Hogan's Alley, because it was really about like, really that sentence of like, where are the black people, what's going on, like, are there black people that existed here? And so it started with folks digging into history and really just thinking like, there's no way there were no black people here. And so that's how it kind of started with the Hogan's Alley Memorial Project.
Okay.
So it started from there, and then it became the working group, because they started working with the city of Vancouver when the Northeast Falls Creek plan came around. And so with that plan, what happened was there was not a lot of consultation with the black community. So the North Falls East plan has to do with the viaduct. So with that plan, there wasn't consultation with the black community about what was going to happen with that space. And a lot of folks in community were like, what do you mean? Like, there was a whole neighborhood in there. You're not going to talk to a community that lived in the neighborhood? Like, what's going on? So then the working group kind of stemmed from that, and from the work of the Memorial Project as well. And so they started working with the city to just really get more information and really understand how to involve black folks in that conversation. And then they just kept pushing, because they were like, well, we can get a cultural center, but we can get the whole block. Like, why do we have to stop for just a cultural center? We can get the whole block. Because the actual point was like, they were like, okay, well, we can have a cultural center in the middle of like a bunch of expensive condos, but who's going to feel welcome in that cultural center? So then they're like, they pushed, and then they signed the memorandum of understanding with the city of Vancouver in 2022, I believe.
Okay.
And so and then like Hogan's Alley Society, and now we have like 40 something staff. So I think we have about 10 office staff, and then we have like 30 something working in Nora Hendricks Place, which is the SRO that we run under Hogan's Alley Society. So yeah.
Yeah, and what's so crazy is that story, especially when I heard it, it reminds me of the story of hip hop, but kind of reversed, because again, it was a cross Bronx expressway that was put in to the Bronx.
Not a new story, right? Yeah.
But in that incident, you had the white flight. So the money moved out to the suburbs, because they was promoting suburbs and cars and stuff. So the money moved out, and then it was just people of color stuck there without the resources.
Right. Yeah.
And then the drugs, the guns, and all that stuff, the gangs and the violence, and but then hip hop came about. So it's the same thing where they did what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And the impact that it had. And then when you throw in the racism.
Of course, a little sprinkle. A little sprinkle, yeah.
A little sprinkle and stuff. So pretty much Hogan's Alley is about preserving that legacy.
Yeah, we're really focused on becoming a black community hub for the black community, and really daylighting that history, continuing to daylight the history, and just, preserving that history, and really informing people about, like I said before, the fact that there aren't the question that comes to mind for a lot of Black folks when they're in Vancouver is, where are the Black folks? It's by design. And so really actually just putting light on the fact that it's by design, and then also saying, well, now we've told you what the problem is, and we're here to support folks with coming together in community. So yeah, that's what we're really about at Hogan's Alley Society.
Yeah. So we got FIFA coming up this year?
Oh yeah, FIFA is coming
FIFA,
up.
FIFA. Are y'all doing anything or trying to prepare, because it's going to be an influx of people here?
For FIFA, in terms of our end, like, we're really just working with other nonprofits in the downtown east side to just ensure that the folks who are living and exist in the downtown east side are still safe, and feeling safe and feeling like they're in community with other people. But in terms of FIFA, like, I don't think we have any events or anything planned for FIFA. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Masalta is our community engagement coordinator, and also she a little soccer fan, so she's yeah, she's a big. I said little, but she's a big soccer girl. So I'll leave that to her. To speak more about, but yeah.
So put that in the question.
Oh, we got okay.
But so yeah, just is it just around, y'all do things just around Vancouver, or do y'all go to like the island or any?
We're trying to expand to do more stuff in Metro Vancouver, and we've built a lot of partnerships actually with organizations in Metro Vancouver. We're still expanding onto the island, but there are a lot of really great organizations already doing amazing work on the island. So you have like BC Black History Awareness Society. They do really great work. Last year they came out with like a timeline book that really daylights a lot of Black history, because there's a lot. Like, again, I'm from Victoria, so I grew up thinking there aren't a lot of Black folks and there's no Black history on the island, but actually a lot of Black folks lived or still continue to live in Salt Spring Island, I'm pretty sure. So there's a lot of history around that as well.
I like Salt Spring Island.
Yeah, so
I didn't know that.
There's a rich history with Salt Spring Island. So I don't want to like say any facts because I don't know any of facts right now, but BC Black History Awareness Society is a great resource. Like, they do a lot of amazing work. They did I think they have a traveling exhibit right now with the Museum of Vancouver that they're doing about sleeping car porters. So yeah, like, if you go on their website, they have a lot of amazing stuff to tell you about the history.
Okay, man, that just blew my mind about Salt Springs. Cause
I know. It blew my mind too.
Me and my wife went there, and I was like, man, I like it here.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah. That's the thing about that. Like, everything is so beautiful in that. Yeah, it's nice.
So were Black folks present here? What, the 1900s?
I think from some of the facts that we have, or the history that I've learned, is like their Black folks have been around BC since like the 1800s.
1800s.
So
Governor, I actually watched a documentary that said there was like a military force of like Black soldiers that all left America because they weren't being treated fair. And when America was thinking about trying to invade and take over like Vancouver Island, it was like the Black soldiers that defected from there. There was mostly Black people. They defended Victoria, and they're the reason like it stayed as like Canadian.
Okay.
I did not know that. Yeah, James. I was gonna say Governor James Douglas invited a whole bunch of. Yeah. I didn't know. I paid
attention when I watched it.
Period. I didn't know about the Black soldiers part, but that's so cool. Like, I did not know about the Black soldiers. That's so cool.
There's a monument there out in Victoria, I think. I'm pretty sure. There's like an area that's dedicated to where their barracks were and where they stayed and watched post and stuff like that, because they were watching them come across the water, right?
Next time I go home, I'm going to have to go find that memorial.
I remember where it was. I think it was in that same menu bar of like the local favorites of the Telus, like the one that I saw, the Hogan's Alley documentary. Yeah. Because I just like binge watched one day a bunch of like, everything about like history, local history, and like African Americans had so much, their hands in so much like history that went on, and it's a lot of people don't know it.
They don't tell. So
why Hogan's Alley is essential. It's awesome.
Yeah. They need to tell that story.
Yeah, we learn something new every day, like all the time.
Yeah.
But like I think Masalta mentioned, like Governor James Douglas invited a bunch of Black folks over to support colonialism, but he invited them over to become, like, I guess, homesteaders. I'm not sure what the word is, but to kind of live here in Vancouver. And on the island as well.
Well, and just like in Canada itself, I was talking to my wife about this the other day, and maybe you can fact check me.
Oh.
But apparently, when people say Uncle Tom, like in the States,
Yeah.
we say Uncle Tom, you know, it has a negative connotation.
Yeah.
But apparently, the actual Uncle Tom, he was helping slaves escape America into Canada.
I think I've heard something about that, but hey, I am not a fact. I'm not the dictionary. I'm not Google, but I will say I did see something on Instagram about that actually. Yeah. So I want to look more into that. That's really interesting.
Well, yeah. And again, I just feel like stories that we need to hear. Mm-hmm. And given how crazy the world is right now, I think it's definitely important that we have, you know, a Hogan's Alley Society to tell the stories, because again, a lot of people feel like they're going through something. You feel like you're going through it by yourself. Yeah. But when you hear the struggles and the challenges that other people went through, you like, oh, I'm not by myself. Because, you know, again, kind of some of the stuff that's happening and people like, oh my goodness, this person got shot. And again, it's horrible. But black people been saying that for, you know, but we were being victims and we were complaining. But again, like Martin Luther King said, if you allow injustice to, you don't stop it, it's going to spread.
Yes, exactly.
You know, injustice, there is an injustice everywhere. So again, you can be like, oh, that's just them. That's just them down the block. But eventually it's going to come
spread. Up. Yeah, it's going to come to your front door.
Yeah. So I feel like the story of our struggles, especially like you said, there's a lot of stuff we don't even know here. Yeah. It can help people, you know, kind of better process what they're going through.
Exactly. And honestly, that's the thing about, like, I feel like that's the thing about Blackness in Vancouver is like the sense of, like, it comes with a sense of isolation for a lot of people. And that's why I feel like oral history and storytelling is so incredibly important. And I think across the diaspora, African, Black, however you want to define it, oral history is a part of our culture, right? Like, I grew up sitting beside my aunts. Like, my aunts are a lot older than my mother, and they're telling all these stories. And, like, that's how you learn about your family. Like, even this past year or so, so last year was my first time going back, 2024 was my first time going back to Nigeria with my family. And so ever since then, I was like, I want to start interviewing my parents, because they're getting older and like really getting to know about my family history, and like just hearing them say all these things and really learning about like the Nigerian part of myself has been so important to me. But I think even past that, like hearing stories like this, for example, you just shared about the Black soldiers here, like that's oral history. This is not something like, I mean, you learned through a documentary, but that was someone telling you, right? So it's like, I think oral history is so important. And we always encourage folks, like, if you have stories and you know folks and you have photos or whatever, please reach out to us. We always want to learn more, because like a lot of the folks who are connected to the work we do are connected in community, but I think there's always a lot of people who don't know too much about what we do. They don't know that we actually want to hear these stories. Like, even if you just have a magazine or something, we want to know about it. We want to take it in and see how we can support with building and daylighting the history that exists here. Because like, I think I'm repeating myself, but I just think it's so important that I just like nail in this point of the fact that like it really feels like there are no Black people, because there's no there's no common neighborhood. That's what Hogan's Alley was. Like, you walk around and you see people who look like you, and you're not like, oh, I'm alone. Like, but now I'm walking, like, when I was at UBC, I was like, damn, unless I saw my friends, like I was like, oh, okay. I think it's gotten a lot better. I'm gonna say like Vancouver has increased in the amount of Black people since I moved here. Like, I can't lie, like it's gone better. And you see yourself more, like you see people who look like you more, and it's more comforting. But I still feel like there's that disconnect in like the sense of community that exists here. Yeah. But that's also me speaking personally. Yeah. Like, I can't lie, that's how I feel. Yeah.
I feel like I definitely seen, even because I'm out there in White Rock, and I've seen more Black people in White Rock. You know, might be a lot of Americans running, getting the hell
maybe
up
out of it.
But you know, I'm riding. I'm like, okay, we representing.
You're right.
Representing. All right. But so you try to have events. So again, getting back to you were saying about the block, that area. Yeah. So what are some of the plans for that area?
Yeah, so currently like I said before, we have a memorandum of understanding signed with the city of Vancouver. So the viaducts right now are not seismically sound, so they have to come down. And so our memorandum of understanding states that we have access to that land to build on it once the viaducts come down. So the question right now, which we had an entire symposium about on January 23rd, is like, who is going to pay for the viaducts coming down, and when is the viaducts going to come down? So those are some questions that are very much like out of our control. So right now we're really just trying to support community and understanding that that is something that needs to happen. Like, what are the steps that we need to take as a community to ensure that these viaducts come down? Like I said, they're not seismically safe, so they shouldn't be up, I think, past 2030, right? Like they shouldn't be up. They weren't built to last that long. And so that's kind of one of our major focuses right now, is really like raising awareness about the fact that these viaducts need to come down, and, you know, raising awareness about our involvement with it, raising awareness of why we are so involved with it. Because those are the questions. Some people can be like, okay, so why does it concern you? Like, why are you into that? But it's like, because that was a neighborhood that was destroyed. That was a neighborhood that was home for people. That was kind of what you were saying earlier, is like, you know, you had like what you said about white flight. Like, something similar happened with Hogan's Alley. It was declared a blight, right? So garbage wasn't picked up, you know, all those little things that happen. All of a sudden people don't want to live there anymore. And then some of it was declared industrial zoning, right? So you can't build anymore. So all these like things, again, by design, purposeful, right? So those are some of the things that we're trying to do to raise awareness around the block. But also we're trying to like be on ground. So last summer we did a bit of a gardening project out like right on by the bridge, or by the viaduct.
Okay,
it says
I've seen that.
Hogan's Alley welcomes you. So as the sun comes in more, the plants will grow again, and you'll actually see the sign. But it was really amazing because we just work with like community, like volunteers who are part of our organization. And it was really great because we had like our neighbors in the neighborhood. They kind of came through and they were like, oh my God, this is great. Like, this is gorgeous. Like, what are you guys up to? And again, raise awareness. People were like, oh, this is really great. And then they had the questions about like you're asking, like, what's happening with this viaduct? So, you know, like, we're really also trying to like support people in knowing like we're here to also hear feedback from folks. Like, you know, we want to hear what you think as well. And it was also a great point of connection with the actual residents in Nora Hendricks Place, because right now Nora Hendricks Place sits right beside the viaduct. And so a couple of residents are really taking it. Like, at first we were like, oh, how are we going to take care of these plants? Like, we have a staff of like 10 people, and like some of us mostly work from home. So we're like, how are we going to take care of these plants? So we're like, maybe volunteers. But some of the residents at Nora Hendricks Place are really into gardening. And one of them specifically, she was like, you know what, I got it. Like, she set up stones around it to make sure like it doesn't overgrow. She waters it all the time. Like, she's really taking care of it. And so, yeah, I think I lost your question there a little bit.
No.
Yeah, that's
but I remember that garden. I remember, yeah. Aren't they building like a hospital?
Yes, St. Paul's Hospital. Yes. Like down the road a little bit. I'm so bad with directions, I can't lie.
It just seems like there's going to be a lot of construction going on.
Yes, yeah, definitely a lot of construction. Yeah.
So there's a building on the corner of Main and that street.
Main and Union.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is a building going up there?
Yeah. So right on the corner of Main and Union right now, what exists there is a rooming house, and then you have an empty lot, and then you have a brick house that is there right now. And so we own that land that's there, and we're going to be providing, I always forget the number. I think it's like 109 or 100 and something units of social housing to Black community. And so, one thing I like to mention actually about that building, I just find this really cool, is because like in the diaspora, generational living is a huge thing. Like, people tend to have their parents or like their whoever else live with them. And so a lot of the units have lock-off suites. So like, let's say I like have a family, I'm living with my dad or something. He has access to his own space. He's not in my business. He has his own space or whatever. But if he needs help or anything else, there's a lock-off suite. So I can just like, hey girl, how you doing? Like, kind of thing. So I think it was because we really tried to focus on, like, the board worked really hard along with community to ensure that there's Afrocentric designs like incorporated. So actually the building is going to be built like to represent a baobab tree. So baobab trees, I believe, are central and like they're local to East Africa.
Okay.
And so in a lot of communities in East Africa, baobab trees represent a great space of community conversation, because it grows really tall and like really huge. Like, it spans a large amount of space, and so communities gather under, have conversations, just exist together in community. And that was a really huge important part to our to the design process.
Okay.
Because we're like, what are things that can actually represent Afrocentric principles, and how can we signify that, hey, this is a reminder of the community that existed here, but then also work with the current community of Black folks in Vancouver, right?
Yeah,
Like we're
yeah.
working to daylight history, but we're also working with who lives there right now, right? So yeah, like it was a really cool process. Really, like they had a design session like 2 years ago, and then they also we had an event in June where we work with about 3 leaders from different African communities
Okay.
to bring in what does Afrocentric principles, what does that mean to your specific community, and it was very interesting for me. Like I said, I've mentioned this before, I'm Nigerian, so I've always understood Afrocentric principles from that perspective. So we had someone from Zimbabwe, I think, sharing about what that meant to his culture, and then I can't remember where the other person was from, but she was I think she was from somewhere in West Africa, and she was also sharing that, and it was a really great conversation, and so yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That you incorporated that into. Yeah. See, because without that input.
Exactly. You need community to do stuff. You really need it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, it's only 6:40. So, so about an event, should we save that?
Oh, should we say that last? Like, should we build up a hype and then be like, this is what we doing? Or should I
Yeah.
tell you?
Or you can come up and, is it Maselta? Yeah. Okay. You want to come up and tell your story, and then we can get into events and.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to?
Yeah. Oh. All right. So, thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's so this is a pretty like needed movement, and there's a lot of moving parts to it. And I was actually just starting to write some questions down while I was listening to the interview too, just things that came to mind. But well, first I'll start with what's your role with the Hogan's Alley?
I'm community engagement coordinator.
Okay. And maybe give us a little insight into how that works. That sounds like a position we might need soon one of these days, by the way. So I'm super fascinated with this part.
Yeah, of course. So a lot of my role has to do with raising the external profile of the organization and really supporting with what that may look like in different capacities. So partnerships, volunteer engagement, event planning and production, education. So like when I help coordinate our school and office presentations when we go out to schools and offices.
Nice.
Our walking tours. I think I said that already.
Wow, you coordinate all of that.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, with support from the team as well. We have an amazing team, and just really grateful to be in this job. But the community engagement really has to do with supporting others learning about our work and continuing to engage with our work.
So you guys got to work with other organizations, kind of like as in tandem and like a big symphony. Everybody, the flute's over here and the horns over here and the drum and every you're gonna make some music basically.
Yeah, like Aisha was saying, we need community, and also so much of our work is centered around Black support for Black community is needed in so many different ways. And yes, we have the ways that we're doing that, but we also think it's really important to connect folks with other Black-led organizations that are doing those things if there are those supports available. Because also, as Aisha said, the help that Black folks needs to be culturally informed and community-led. And so it's really important for us to connect folks with other Black-led organizations. And then even beyond that, just partnerships with organizations in general that are values aligned with our mission and our goals is a big part of what we do, and is really important for us to continue doing to continue to support community members.
So how did you come up with like the infrastructure to kind of build like that kind of program? Like, is there schooling or like post-secondary education? Like that just sounds like overwhelming to me. Like it sounds like a lot, and I wouldn't have known how to, like, where the first step or where to step in any direction to get that. So is that something that came through school and then you found this organization, or is this something they had kind of cooked into their policy and you learned it, or how did it all come together kind of?
I would say it was a perfect mix of the two, and I was grateful enough to be in the right place at the right time. I studied kinesiology in university, which is people will know is sports science, so not directly related to community engagement, but I'm also someone who big sports fan, grew up my whole life loving sports, didn't necessarily play as much, but I think appreciating the sport in different ways also made me be front lines of seeing what it can do for community and how it can connect people. And so I think those interests gave me a lot of skills that were just naturally important in connecting people and building community.
Yeah, sports definitely help with the team concept. It kind of just naturally teaches the team concept better than anything, because you know we're always raised to be competitive and be the best, and you want to outshine everybody, or that's what this westernized society kind of trains you to do. And it seems like, especially I don't know what it's like with girls, but with boys, especially young growing up boys, sports is kind of the only thing that can pacify. And they'll actually go along with the team concept instead of me in most cases, so I can see where that definitely would help in this line of work. And
I think, for me, I was also in a lot of settings. I was a fan or someone that was maybe working with the team or helping in some sort of way. So it was I'm not on the field or on the court, but there is still connection that can be made
you're
here.
still part of the team for sure.
There's community to be built here. And so, I think those are just some skills that ingrained in me the importance of community work. And, in university, I had different internships that were just related to nonprofit or community work in general.
So you've seen a lot of growth since you first started there.
Yes.
So it is there, where do you see Hogan's Alley in 5 years?
That's a really exciting question.
Oh, did I just open the Pandora's box?
You did.
I got the good question. I got the money question. Yeah.
I think for me, it's seeing, I want to say 2+ developments completed and being operated well, and seeing, a well-functioning structure where Black communities prioritize in affordable housing, and also seeing that happen on the Hogan's Alley block, seeing the historical significance of that, and also continuing to build on that throughout the Lower Mainland. And so for us, it's really important to protect, ground our work in community land trusts, and so that just supports the idea that the decisions that would be made regarding to a specific plot of land would be stewarded by the community that it affects, which, as we know, the absence of that agency was part of the reason that Hogan's Alley was demolished. And so we're looking to rebuild in a way where we would look to prevent future displacement. And that's one thing I really see for us in our future, the Hogan's Alley Community Land Trust being healthy, existing, and really having that community support and engagement.
So this is like a pilot run, essentially. This is a pilot template, so there could be other neighborhoods grown with this same intention, and
yes.
is that the ultimate goal, or was it just to see this, how big is the expansion look to you?
We know that there are rapidly growing populations of Black folks throughout Metro Vancouver. Surrey is a big one that comes up. Burnaby is another one that comes to mind. And so the goal is really to, if there are opportunities to connect people there and to protect affordable housing under community land trust there, of course, we would be looking to do that.
So that would be opening a different entity, or this would be an expansion of the Hogan's Alley?
It's an expansion of the Hogan's Alley Community Land Trust.
Nice. Okay. That kind of goes into the next question, because it's, a lot of the things it's preservation of legacy and support of the arts and stuff. So is there expansion goals for maybe a museum or a library or anything like that as well?
Yeah, that's a really good question. One of the first things that actually came out of the discussions the Black community had regarding the Northeast Falls Creek plan, which was the plan that includes the viaducts, was the Black Cultural Center on the Hogan's Alley block. And so that's definitely a goal for sure. And we have done, as part of our community education around the Main and Union project, asking community members what they would like to see in those spaces, and then just in general asking Black community members what they would like to see in a Hogan's Alley block. And so we're really doing a lot of the, talking to community members, surveying, educating, and also making space for engagement in a way that feels good for community members on the future of what housing could look like for them, and on the future of what, a Black community center, a Black cultural center, a service that they would, a service that would be for them. We want them to have input on this.
Yeah, nice. So, yeah, with all of these things, it kind of like the picture gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And, when it's things like preserving legacy, building community, and, raising awareness to make a better future and stuff, eventually this almost seems like it's kind of the natural evolution is like a political movement. Yes or no? Or I'm curious because that just seems like the natural growth, like in a good way, like. I'm not trying to fry you on this podcast. I promise.
These are good questions. I might have to think on this one.
I wanted to bring my A game for this, so.
I definitely think that in a lot of ways you are correct because I think at its core,
it already is kind of like a grassroots political movement.
At its core, it
for
was
the
about
upliftment. Yeah.
daylighting the reality of like homes that were destroyed, communities that were displaced, and also doing things in a way where that doesn't have to happen again. And community members feel grounded in the way that things are, and that wouldn't happen again. And I think I lost your question for a bit.
Do you see it kind of naturally,
yes.
at least sort of like, rubbing elbows as a political movement? It kind of is.
Yes.
Like this is how a political movement is almost like a demonized term when you think about it.
Yes.
But
and
like it kind of is operating as like how, like, in its highest timeline, this is what a political movement should look like.
Which is so interesting because in a lot of ways we are just advocating for the right for Black people to exist free racism, and just thrive economically, socially, financially. And so in a lot of ways these things shouldn't be revolutionary, but in the world that we live in and in the landscape that we are in, it is right now. And so it is political by nature, but at its core it is really just wanting people to live with dignity,
human rights,
and also in a way where that hasn't necessarily happened in the past for this group of people here, and we're looking to address that specifically because it hasn't been addressed.
Because a political movement can totally uplift, you know what I mean? Like that's like the, when you see a rallied community moving in a positive direction, that's a political movement. Like a lot of people tend to kind of they've sort of broad stroke that like radicalization tends to come with like terms really like political movements, but it's also, honestly this is kind of like how a real grassroots, like, that's for the good of the people is kind of how it should look, something like this template, I would think.
It makes me think about how when Hogan's Alley was demolished, there were plans to go further into the Chinatown Strathcona area, but because of community pressure,
there was a pushback and they had really to alter the plans. I heard about that.
Altered. And so really it's also about preserving that spirit of solidarity. We know that divide and conquer tactics have been used.
They still are.
It still are.
Yeah.
And so it's all
They're just finding new things to divide us about nowadays. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah. And so again, at its core, we're looking to preserve our shared humanity and reinforce that on a daily basis, right? And it's just a revolutionary right now, I guess.
It should be, but
yeah. I had something else I was gonna say. So are there any favorite events that you have coordinated? Like, let's say if you had 3 favorite events since you've been a part of Hogan's Alley, what would you say those were and why?
No, it's giving me like my English teacher, like
and why?
the questions always had an and why, right, in English class.
It always buys a little extra time too.
Like
the and why adds like 10 minutes on top. Right?
That's funny. I would say first one that comes to mind. Okay, I'm going to take the opportunity to bundle these two into one event because they kind of were.
Yeah.
Hogan's Alley Resurgence Planting and the Resurgence Party. And so the planting was the event where we got community members who volunteered their time and wanted to help us spell out Hogan's Alley welcomes you through plants. And so we had some amazing support, really like putting together the pieces for this. And we thought it was beautiful to bring community members together to back to this place, and also to have that powerful living sign that says Hogan's Alley welcomes you.
And it's like a thing, like it really like to like get your hands dirty, like people you say that, but like when you get your hands in the dirt, it's like you're grounding yourself around community, helping to like bring life to the community and stuff like that. So I could totally see the reward in that for sure.
Yeah. And then it was so special because around 2 weeks later we had the Hogan's Alley Resurgence Party, which was at People's Park, a couple of steps over, and it's just a park that's right in the neighborhood, and we were really happy to activate this space. We had just some music. Couch Jams Collective killed it that day. It was a really just beautiful atmosphere. And we had some vendors come out, lots of food. And so it was really nice to just be in that space again.
Nice.
Community,
Sounds dope.
Enjoy. Lots of neighborhood businesses, our friends stopped by as well to enjoy. So it was just really a special day.
Nice. Bring a gathering of community, food, and music. It's like you can't really go wrong, really.
Can't really go wrong.
No. And then planting plants too, man.
Yeah.
We need to get back to that, by the way.
Exactly.
Like people need to get back to growing their own food and stuff, and we can't just be relying on the stores. We need to start supporting our farmers, local farmers, local butchers, all that kind of stuff. And community events like this is also a good way to rally the traffic towards those kind of businesses.
Yes.
And have you found like it's fairly easy to get sponsors and like businesses that want to work with you guys? Has it been fairly easy?
We've been really grateful, I think, to be in a position where a lot of organizations know about our work because of the grassroots work that has been happening for so long. And so, we do get a lot of organizations that are happy to support us, and also other Black-led organizations as well that helps us connect to. So it's really important that it kind of circles back to just being more connected with Black community members and supporting Black-led organizations, and just seeing how we can support each other. So we're really grateful.
Yeah, that's awesome. What else was I gonna ask? Is there any envisioned, like, do you have kind of like a goals type of event that you see, like, let's say in the next year, 2 years, like, is there kind of a something you would like to accomplish through your events and your job, like kind of like a clear level up, like for lack of, is there a Super Bowl for you?
Oh my gosh, that's a hard one. I feel like we always talk about like really good event ideas. It's really hard to pick one right now. Does anyone come to mind for you?
There was one you were talking about. There's one we wrote down today. Why is it not coming?
Oh my gosh. What was it? Oh, yes. Okay, so we have a co-share collective.
Yes.
This was just a really good idea, and I think like would be powerful. We have a co-share collective of organizations that work in Chinatown, Hogan's Alley, downtown Eastside neighborhoods. And so it's us, Hua Foundation, UBC, Asian Canadians, Center for Asian Canadian Research and Engagement, and Chinatown Celebration Society. And we also share an office space. And so today it came up that it would be really interesting if we had like some sort of partnership with an organization that had like I think it was, was it a runway situation?
Yeah, it's like I guess something like Project Runway.
Yes, like
that.
Project Runway.
Oh, okay.
If we all like, I don't know, we're on the show and like we had to like make over our organization T-shirts. And while we were making over our organization T-shirts, we were having discussions about like social justice and just our organization's work and the importance of solidarity.
Workshops and stuff like that. And
and at the end of it, we would have fun with a fashion show. And so I think that that's a very specific idea, but it's like the spirit of that kind of type of engagement is, I think, really special, and it stands out in the way of like, we have the solidarity piece of really illustrating how important it is to stand together as humans. And also just like shared storytelling, as Aisha said, is really important. That would be a big piece. There's so much that we learn on a daily basis just by like working next to each other. And then there's the creation piece as well, you know, taking our organizations, visual symbols of that as well, and really like working with that in our like personal ways would be also, I think, an inspiring piece for a lot of different people that enjoy things like that. And so, yeah, I think at its core, it's just really an opportunity that allows for like really as many people as possible to connect in a way that feels good for them.
Yeah.
And also for us, it's like at its core doing what we do a lot of the time. Yeah.
Actually, I just had another idea, like how let's talk about the library and the museum and stuff. You guys should have a school.
I can see that.
A school is huge because I think it's pretty obvious since the pandemic, like the public school. This is just indoctrination 101. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think it's like, you know, like I thought about like my son not going to school and like being homeschooled and stuff like that, just because like I don't like what you're trying to cram into the kids' heads nowadays. So like, and like, you know, I'm starting to like find like history's been altered like greatly. Like it's like the whole history's been flipped upside down, like with what has like come to light and, you know, things that I've in my own research discovered and stuff. So now I'm kind of really understanding the importance of schools and not letting other people like tell your kids, you know, at least your history, you know, like you need to be with your community and your family, cultivating, you know, their learning of all of that and stuff. And you can't really, you know, it was, the Rockefellers knew what they were doing when they came up with the public school. I'm just saying that, you know, they made sure that the kids were taken care of so that the parents were working, you know what I mean? Like this was just designed for us to be the workers, never to be the bosses and stuff like that. Like, and anybody who, you know, wasn't their people, you know? So, school I think would be awesome because like the way everything you're saying right now, it just seems like this is education. You're speaking education right now.
100%. And I think that that's also a big part of what we do and are looking to build on. I think it was last year that BC Black History was added to the secondary school curriculum here.
Wow.
It's very recent. I don't know if I'm getting the timeline right.
It is like
this school, yeah. It was.
Oh, so this is the launch year of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so naturally, we got requests on organizations that wanted support. Requests from, you know, educational institutions
that wanted you guys to speak. Yeah.
And even just with resources, because they were like, I don't know how, like what to use to teach about this, right? Because those were the textbooks, right? Yeah. What are they going to use? And so
what's like culturally appropriate, you know what I mean? Like without, you know, a lot of people can just, sorry, but the boomers aren't the best like generation to be teaching anything. And they take a lot of assumptions that they were raised with. And, you know, there's still a lot of boomer teachers out there. I'm kind of like the hot takes guy on the podcast, by the
way. Really? No, be yourself, honestly.
Okay, cool.
I was going to say we've been able to share like online accessible resources. And so that's been able to help a lot of teachers just throughout. And then it's also really important to amplify the work of organizations like Ethos Lab and BC Community Alliance that do work specifically regarding supporting Black youth in education and also Black education in general. And as Aisha said, BC Black History Awareness Society has amazing educational resources. And so it's about daylighting the fact that also this work has been in the works. This work has been in the works. This work has been going
evolving, yeah.
And it's also, I think, in a lot of ways, just like we've seen in different areas, sometimes the way Black folks are doing it isn't always daylighted. And so, yeah, really important to continue sharing about organizations.
Raising the awareness. Yeah.
It's been a long day. Thank
you
for bearing with
Same.
me.
It's been for us too. Okay, so is this where we let you reveal the events? Is it time yet?
It's time.
It's time. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Drum roll.
First, we have tomorrow. We have
Tomorrow.
Boots to Broadway, which is a fundraiser concert that we are doing with the Junior Black Achievement Awards at the Culch Historic Theater. It's going to be starring Lavina B. Fox, who is a 2-time Juno Award winner, and also a Hogan's Alley descendant. And so her parents, Ernie King and Trisha Williams, owned and operated a club on East Hastings, the Harlem Nocturne.
Wow.
And so she's an amazing performer that's had an exceptional career. And she's also, taking part in this amazing coming home story. And so we're really excited to be presenting this event with Junior Black Achievement Awards. We'll also have like a silent auction, 50-50, just lots of fun things to engage with. So we really encourage people to come out. Tickets can be found at theculch.com.
Okay, nice. And are there any organizations that you guys work with that you would like to shout out or bring recognition to, that teammates that you work alongside with?
Sorry, I have more events. Were we going back?
Oh, you have more events? Okay, keep going. Here we go.
Yeah, sorry. Well, on February 10th, we have our Building Belonging webinar, which we're going to be chatting about Afrocentric design and what that can look like, especially in Lower Mainland, throughout Metro Van, and what especially as it relates to the Hogan's Alley Community Land Trust. And then after that, we have our Blackathon that we are working on with Ethos Lab. And so Ethos Lab does a Blackathon every year where they spotlight a Black inventor. And I guess this kind of goes into your next piece as well of like shouting out an organization. They do such amazing work, and they do a Blackathon every year where they bring youth together to daylight a Black inventor and also hack a problem related to this. And so this year they're working on reimagining the future of Hogan's Alley through the critical use of AI. And so as something that kids cannot avoid in life, it's really important to facilitate an environment where kids can, critically assess it and at least use it in a way that is informed.
AI literacy, essentially.
Yes, if needed. And so, it's really exciting to be working on this event with Ethos Lab, and much like Junior Black Achievement Awards, it's really important for us to work with organizations that support Black youth, because a lot of the work we're doing is going to be enjoyed by Black youth in the future. And so, now and in the future, but we're really excited to be working with such amazing people.
Nice. And more events?
It's good to check. Did I miss anything between? I don't think I did. No, it's all good.
We're good for now. Okay, cool.
Sorry, thank you.
Any associates you would like to give flowers to a recognition?
I'm going to start doing it more mobile. She was asking how often do we have this show?
Yeah, we do this show once a month right now. It's the only availability we could kind of get with our work schedules and all that. But we're kind of moving towards mobilizing, just being like a pop-up, Yeah. And we've got a new correspondent on the team. He actually is located in Alberta, but he's a big artist, and he's kind of like touring across the nation. He's like a bookings manager for a lot of well-known artists as well. So kind of through him, we'll be able to be like the fly on the wall when he's going on tour, and he'll be able to get some good big name interviews for us and stuff like that, and additional content. And so he'll get to kind of show us the perspective from the road, a little bit of artist life and stuff like that, sneak peek behind the curtain kind of stuff like that. But 2026, this is the year where we're expanding. So
congratulations.
Bet on yourself. That's a term I've always used too. Like I said that. I've always said that about me with my music careers. Like I bet on myself, and I didn't quit on it. So that resonated with me when you were saying that.
That's great.
But
do y'all find some of the institutions that eat?
Wait, do you want to come and question? Yeah. This is the other reason why we gotta find other meetings.
So
musical chairs during the
So do y'all find some of the organizations that they want to work with y'all, or is it a challenge? Like I think you mentioned UBC. Y'all.
Center,
Yes, one of our co-share collective organizations is the UBC Center for Asian Canadian Research and Engagement.
So do you have to deal with a lot of bureaucracy and stuff, or?
I think that they're like a faculty community group. The administrative setup is a bit different from like the UBC, and so we're honestly really grateful. We work with great people. Not at least in my time with the organization, nothing that I've experienced there.
So the Jimi Hendrix or his grandmom house event, how did that come about?
Would be better to speak to this. This is fully like her child. Yeah, right.
Second version. The way, like, all of a sudden now I'm forgetting how it came about, but I'll tell you. So, like, when I first joined, the summer I joined the organization, we wanted to boost up our walking tours, and we were like, we don't have photos of, like, the neighborhood to, like, really support the walking tours, because we had historical photos, but we wanted to do, like, a comparison, I guess.
Yeah.
And so my brother dabbles in photography, and so we were like, we'll just contract him out, and so my brother and I were just walking around the neighborhood taking photos of, like, different stops in the walking tour and beyond. Like, we got stops in our current walking tour, but also just like historical sites in the neighborhood. And so we walked past the Nora Hendrix home, and then my brother was like, "Oh, it's a cool house." He's like taking the photos, and the guy RC, that's his name. Yeah. He was like, "Do you guys want to come in?" And we were like, "Oh, okay." And so we came. He invited us in, and he's like, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm with Hogan's Alley Society. I just started. We're taking these photos for a walking tour." And he was like, "Oh, I've actually been trying to get in contact with you guys. Like, I wanted to find a way to work with you guys because they recognized the history and the home they were living in, right?" And so I guess for context for your listeners, like, Nora Hendrix lived in that home, I believe, from 1936 to that number is so wrong, but she lived there for quite a bit, and so Jimi Hendrix would come visit her at that house as well. So anyways, the home residents, the people that live there, recognize that history, and so they were like, if y'all ever want to do something together, like, you can use this house. And so I took that back to my boss, and she was like, this is a great idea. So we were like, what can we do in that space? How can we create community in a different way with such a small space? So we kind of invited a lot of our champions, people who have been a part of the Hogan's Alley work since literally Hogan's Alley was the Hogan's Alley Memorial Project. So I'm talking like, I think this was like in the 90s. Like, so people who've been working on this for a long time, and as well as like donors and funders and potential, just people who are interested in our work. And so the first time we did like a poetry vibe, because RC himself is a poet, and I think he also has a radio station, actually.
Yeah, he had me on the show.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's so cool. But he was like, so from that I was like, that's a really cool idea. And I just remember, like, I don't know, from that I was thinking of like speakeasies, and I was like, what's kind of a cool vibe? Like, I never experienced that, but what could bring that in? What could bring that vibe back? So we had poetry readings, and then we also had our boss, she also presented about like the story of Hogan's Alley. And then we also had our board chair. So she's been a part of this for a while. So she presented, she gave a lot of context, and then she's a really good storyteller. So she had the people hooked, right? Yeah. And I think she also spoke at the event. So you got to see that too. Yep. And then this past one, one of our board members, Carrie, I think she's friends with your wife or your wife's sister.
My friend Paul, his wife.
Oh, his wife. Oh, okay.
Sister,
yes.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So she was like, I saw this band. They're really good. Like, they're really, like, I think it's going to be values aligned. And we're like, okay, cool. And then I looked into your guys and I was like, okay, this is cool. And then randomly, you guys perform at the Green Auto in the summer, and my roommates were there because they're like CITR. And I was like, and they came back, they were like, yeah, there's this really good band. They like had hip hop and all these other stuff. And I was like, oh my God, that's the same thing. And for me, I was like, it's cross-generational, because you had someone, like, my roommates are like in their like early 20s. And then we had a board member who's been part of our work. And I was like, okay, we got to do this. And then I was like on your Instagram, and I was listening to some of your stuff, and I was like, okay. And then I reached out, and then boom, we had the second event, and we had so many compliments after. People were like, it was so great, and I was like, thank you. But honestly, I think it was literally the vibe that you guys brought. It was very like, I think a lot of the folks really felt the music, and they were really into it. And like, looking back at the photos, everybody was really having a good time. you know. So anyways, that's how that came about, because we just want to keep creating a space for people to learn about our work, people who we know are very interested in our work. And like I said, we like to invite our champions to that space, because it's a completely free event. It's like, you know, it's just, but it is in that, and also what adds to it is the fact that it's in that home, right? So we're really bringing it back to the roots of what we're talking about here. And Nor Hendricks was a really great member of Hogan's Alley. Like, she was part of the church. She worked at Vice Chicken and Steakhouse. Like, she was a huge community member.
Chicken and Steakhouse.
Yes.
That was huge in that documentary.
Yes, it was. Yeah. So Randy Clark, who's the Vi's grandson, he actually is very involved in our work. He sometimes leads walking tours, and he's been a really great resource in providing like real history, right? Because he's a judge in the Blackathon as well. So he's like someone who's been really really involved with our work, and also bringing that historical perspective, mixing in with the present as well, right? Because you really need that merge of like perspectives. So anyways, his grandma was Vi, and so he's very involved in what we do. So anyways, that's how that event came about, and it's just like, I look forward to the next one. I think it's gonna be really fun.
So how about the community being receptive to some of the events? Do you feel like, or do y'all feel like there's support?
I would say so. Like, honestly, since I've joined, like, when I joined, we had a Juneteenth event. So we worked with the Longshore Association from Seattle, the Longshoremen. And because like, there is alignment in the history of longshoremen and sleeping car porters, right? Yeah. People were fighting for unionization, all these other things. And so we were working with this really cool, like the union down there. So they came up here for Juneteenth because I think the organization, the broader Longshore organization, wasn't recognizing Juneteenth like as a thing at all. So our community care director, they reached out to them and they were like, yeah, we can work together. And so we had a really great event of bringing histories together, bringing cultures together. It was really great. That event really stood out to me as something that was really cool, because it's like my first year. I think I was like a month into the job, and I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And then the Hogan's Alley Resurgence that Ms. Salta spoke about, I think that really supported us with like local support, because it was really about like bringing life to the community. Like, I think the People's Park that Ms. Alta mentioned is a space that's not a park that's receptive to people use. Like, it's quite small, but also just the way that it's like kind of policed in a sense doesn't make it approachable for a lot of people to want to be there. So when we were having like this kind of like festival there in a sense, people were like, we had the neighbors come through, and they were like people who owned the like salons and like this record store, everything else. They came and they're like, I was just swinging by, like I saw your poster, I just wanted to stop by. And so we've like, in my experience, we've had really great reception from community. And also last Black History Month, we had just a free event. We had like almost 200 people attend with like food. And we just really, because we were presenting a coin with TD. So they did a commemorative coin for Hogan's Alley. And so that was us celebrating that event. I think the coin, I don't know if it's still available for purchase, but it was a while ago. And so in my experience, I think like people are really excited. And I think because like, you know, that's what tends to happen with a lot of like nonprofits and grassroots movements is like you're overworked, underpaid. So people don't sometimes hear about the work that we're doing, but our staff has grown a lot literally since me joining and Maselta joining, that was adding capacity to our organization. So now we actually have the power and capacity to tell people like, hey, this is what we're doing, and we can actually follow up. Like before, I think it was like people kind of knew. It's like kind of like, I think one thing about Vancouver, it's like, if you know, you know. Like I didn't know about this radio station, and I was looking on the Instagram, so many people I know follow the radio station. And I was like, what is going on? But like Vancouver is very, if you know, you know. And like sometimes it's like, that's cool. It's like, oh, I know, I guess. But then sometimes it's like you really want to raise awareness. And I think for a while, it was like a lot of people who were involved with the work for a while knew about it. And then like now I think a lot of people are getting introduced. Like I have friends who are like, they didn't know about this like a year ago, and now they're like, oh yeah, like I heard about Hogan's Alley Society like outside of you. And I was like, that's amazing, right? Really want to give kudos to Ms. Alta for a lot of the work. She's really boosted up our community engagement. Like really T, I don't have nails now, but it's really T. Like she's really been putting in a lot of work, and like working also our comms coordinator, like really, and like our boss, she's out there on those radio stations. Like Jaka, she's out there taking the interviews. We have like 10 core staff, but yeah. Anyways,
she was the one that did the tour, the walking tour, I think.
Yes, for the Brothers Brunch. Yes. She's the one that did the tour. But yeah, so we've really had been able to grow our capacity, and I think that's allowed people to be able to introduce to our story as like an organization, and also the story of Hogan's Alley. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about you? Since she asked her about the vision, is there a vision
Oh
you
my God,
see?
that was so tea. 5-year vision. I don't, I only think into like a year, not even like 6 months. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna be like.
I used to be like that, but then I realized successful people have 5-year visions. So now I'm starting to kind of be like that.
The thing is, you know what? I think it just adds too much pressure. Like in 5 years, what am I? I'm gonna.
I think 5 is hard. 3 is.
3 is manageable. Okay.
2 to 3.
Yeah.
2 to 3.
Okay, see how I wiggled out of that? Exactly. Exactly. Okay, 2 to 3. In 2 to 3 years, I'm hoping, our building that I talked about, Made in Union, is up and is a really great space for people to, like a home for people. And, because it's social housing, it's going to be affordable. Like, that's the key part. We don't have that in Vancouver, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I have a full-time job and I live with like 3 roommates. Like I'm exposing myself, but I live with a lot of roommates. Like
that's why I live out in White Rock.
Exactly. Like so many people are moving out there, like moving out because it's exactly.
But even those prices are going up.
No, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah. We're lucky. Like our neighbors pay like so much more than us. We just got a lucky landlord that doesn't raise it and he's pretty good.
That's so good.
Like if we had to move out of there, we'd be screwed. We wouldn't be living there no more.
Yeah, like that's the story of a lot of people, which is sad. Yeah. But I'm not gonna wiggle out your question. That's what I see. I see that. I'm hoping that the conversations around the viaducts have really increased, and we're actually seeing real change. I'm hoping that we see a lot of movement from the powers at be that have control over the viaducts actually coming down. In the next 2 to 3 years. But yeah, my biggest hope is that construction started. I hope our organization continues to grow. Like we're doing really, really great, amazing work. And I'm not just saying that because I work there, but I really do think it's important. Like grassroots organizations are important, but I think sometimes you get so overworked as someone who's a part of it. So I think it's important that we have more staff and we get more funding. I'd never said my role, but that's part of my role. So I got a little sprinkle, but it's like I really hope we're able to get more access to funding and get more people interested in the work that we do. And I think the thing about when people think about donating to different organizations, because this is a mindset I had. I'm like, you have to be super rich. I don't have spare change to be giving money, but it's if you give 5, that's something. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if you give it to really things you care about, I think of there's a news, is it called news article, news. They're what are they called? News blog that they do really great stories. And I was and they had this huge thing that we really need funding. And I was like, oh, I don't got money. But then I was I have $5 I care about the stories. You guys write amazing stories. So I started donating. Anyways, I went on a tangent, but I just hope we got more money in the next 2 to 3 years as well to continue to grow the work that we do and grow our capacity as an organization.
Well, and I was going to ask, how could people help and support?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. I think, like I said, becoming a monthly donor, that's a huge way to support us. But also outside of funds, it's really important to, a huge part of being community is showing up. So, volunteering, even what y'all are doing right now, this is a really huge thing. Allowing us to come on, welcoming us onto your radio show is really important because it's such a huge way to support. Now we're talking to people we don't know. Y'all can hear us, but we're talking to people we've never met probably, and all these other things, and sharing our story. So I heard this question a while ago. Is what can you do to show to do a lasting impact, to show that you have lasting impact in this world? Whenever you hear that question, you think it's something so big. You're I have to change the world. I have to do something. But it's you can do something as little as showing up to an event, being hey, how can I help? And people sometimes people do that for our events. They'll just be oh, actually I ended up here early. Can I help with anything? And as some of the times it's when we don't have enough volunteers, we're staff are overworked. It's now this one person being okay, I can set up the chairs. It's not that deep. That's enough. You've shown up already. So I think it's not only monetary contributions, but also supporting the work that we do. Show up to our events, ask questions. If you're interested, show up. If you're not interested, somebody who's interested in housing. We're in Vancouver. Someone who cares enough about housing. I think it's so yeah. Anyways. Yeah.
Well, and And we definitely going to do our part. That's why I think my man Hard Body Dreams, he has the show on SFU. He's going to reach out to y'all.
Oh,
That's
okay.
I sent the email to you three
Yes,
introduce, and then also we'll finalize if the talk out in White Rock.
Yes.
And shout out to my homegirl Nashika putting that on. I was around White Rock and it's like flyers and I'm seeing ads and stuff, so she really promoting. And again, I just feel like people are interested in the story because of so much that's going on, because we've been like, we've been saying this for years and years and years, and it's like, and again, it's like, oh, okay, you get it now. Okay, come on over and let's
exactly.
Because when you mention divide and conquer, we have to unify, and I do feel like that here in Vancouver is so kind of siloed. That's why us doing this show is kind of like we talked about this, having a table and bringing people to the table together.
I love that.
I look at it like
that was our slogan at the beginning.
Yeah, because I look at it like
we bring the community to the table, and we're the table.
Yeah.
I love it.
Because I look at it like, okay, you got bread, she got the lettuce, he got the cheese, I got the turkey. Let's come together and make a sandwich. But you got people that's like, no, I'm gonna sit over here and eat my dry as bread, and I'm gonna sit over here and eat my lettuce. Yeah. It's like, it can taste delicious together.
Yes.
But it's a whole bottle of mustard.
So breaking down those walls that divide and replacing them with, unity and love and support. We need that. So I definitely appreciate what you're doing, and just to see that, in college y'all kind of had this vision and y'all stuck to it, because you could have went to another path, and you
could have quit, could have white flagged, and just could have
Yeah, really could have. Thank you guys so much for saying that. And I think what you say about like coming together really is there's African principle of Ubuntu, which is I am, you are. I am because you are. Like, I am because, like, people exist because of people. Like, we're all connected, right? And, like, even the Blackathon that Ms. Salta was talking about, the theme is Ubuntu. Like, and that's a huge thing, and a lot of, like, it might not even be stated, but it's a huge thing in a lot of communities. I am because you are. Like, we are because you are. I'm just saying the words that we're good. But, like, it's true. Yeah, so, and that's... So just wanted to say that. So I thank you guys so much. You're doing really amazing things.
Oh, thank you. So y'all have an event on the 27th as well?
Yeah, so that's in partnership with Ethos Lab. It's the Blackathon. It's what she was saying with, you should just come speak to this. But I know it's like the youth. I don't know if we're over time.
We've never had people switch back and forth. This is really in-depth.
But yes, February 27th is Ethos Lab's Blackathon at Microsoft Vancouver. I believe details are online. I'm unsure if there's any more spots for youth to register, but details are online regarding to attendance. But really excited. The youth are going to be coming together and hacking a problem statement regarding the future of the Hawkins Alley block. And it's going to be really exciting to see the youth engage with it, especially because we would like for youth, especially Black youth, to imagine a future that feels good for them and one they can see themselves in. And also as a Black person, future framing is so important, especially in the local landscape that we live in, where we don't often see a lot of future framing around Black narratives. And so it's powerful on so many levels for an event like this to be happening. And also the team at Ethos is so amazing and talented. Has done so many things in education. And so it's just a really special project to be a part of. And we're really excited to see that happen.
Is this the first time for an event like this?
No, the Blackathon happens
every year.
I want to say 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
It's been happening, but it's been happening. It's an annual event. But this is the first time that we've partnered with them for this event.
Okay.
There was something else I was gonna add.
Any other event? FIFA. Yeah, I just know it's gonna be a lot of people around here, because me and one of my friends was talking about. It's like, man, it'd be there was a show or something, and because it's just so much traffic, and it's like we need some representation. You know, like you said, they're gonna come out here and be like, "Where the black people at?" No.
And they will ask that question, and they will have it answered, right?
Yeah.
And so I also think a big part of what is interesting for us as an organization is realizing that soccer is a huge African descent sport across the diaspora, across the continent. There are so many different cultural ties to the sport. And so there's a lot of people around, spread across the Lower Mainland, a lot of people African descent that have that connection to the sport that we don't know will like have access to engage with it in a good way because of the nature of, you know, like a large multi-billion-dollar tournament descending on the city of Vancouver. And, you know, there's a lot of exciting things that come with that as a sports fan, but it doesn't come with not acknowledging the scary things of that as someone who cares about human beings. And so, it's really looking to remember that connection that people of African descent have to the sport naturally, and also facilitate that in a way that's good for a community. It's also, I think, on a personal basis, being really excited to engage with any African teams that come by. It's also, I think, going back to some goals as an organization, it would be really interesting to have a position of like being able to speak to the history of here. And, you know, if you're wondering why you haven't seen any black people, well, here's why.
Well, and also too, just the economics, that the money that's going to be generated. Cause there any way that some of that money can be tapped in by this community,
right.
You know, to go towards this community, because there's going to be people out here spending money looking for events.
Right.
Kind of cool though if you could do something like have a rally for like the African teams, so you could make them feel like they got a home game while they're here.
And I think that is along the lines of like the connection that we are looking to instill.
My dad's country he's Tongan, which is like Polynesian and stuff like that. So we actually have a strange connection with the country of France, because when they had the World Cup of rugby out there, I think it was 2015 or 2010, or I can't remember what year it was. But anyways, so we had to practice, like Tonga's team was practicing in some small little village, and just, I don't know, they kind of just like, they got in really good with the locals and they loved them. And then it ended up like, we became like a big spectacle to all the locals, like big Polynesian tanks playing rugby and stuff like that. And then they ended up, we kind of became like the local favorites. So like besides France, they were rooting for Tonga. So it was cool. Like we had like this home game vibe feel like in France. So like if you guys could do that for the African teams, I can tell you.
I don't see why not. Like there's
it
Africans
would be
here.
Such a motivational boost. They probably make a movie about.
Yeah.
Like,
we
for
can
real.
partner with other organizations.
Yeah,
like
that'd
African
be
descent
dope.
organizations.
I think, as we said, it's a sport that's so dear to so many of us, like culturally. And so it would be really special to be able to express that, you know, for a team that would be here. And also, you know, depending on, you know, the way draws go and like where teams go and whatever level, like we don't know yet, like what African team may come here. And so part of it is also seeing like if it is a team that has a bigger community here or not. Like there's so many things that could be done with that. And but I really excited. This is like the type of beauty that we would love to tap into, and just like helping folks feel connected, and also on the basis of like athletes do move around so much. And this is like just a different podcast altogether, but like. Traveling as an African team, especially in like this World Cup, it would be so powerful to come to some sort of community recognition of that, and the recognition of the shared passion and the shared culture there.
And I know just from being an artist, I'm seeing definitely Afro beats, some amazing talented groups out here. And we had a couple on our show, people like KC Fantasy, the younger generation. So it would be cool to show for them to come out here and see, oh man, they got this incredible African American culture here. If I need to go and get some sweet potato pies from Mama Frost out there and be out there slinging sweet potato pies, be like, this straight from
exactly.
It's straight from North Carolina up in this.
No, it's the way we feel when we travel and we see Black communities somewhere and we're excited to engage with them. Like it's important to show that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And like you said, not feel alone and just be like, man, they leave here and be like, man, I went out there, I ain't see no black people, I ain't see, there was no type of food, no type of music, no type of fashion.
That's how I feel with the Polynesians. They're like not like, I'm like one of three I know in the city. In a big city with millions of people, I know 2 other Polynesians here.
Did you play rugby as well?
I tried. I was better at American football.
Okay.
So yeah, I stuck with that.
Well, once again, thank y'all for not only stopping by, but for everything that you do. And like I said, we're going to do what we can to help support, spread the word. I was hoping to spread more about the show tomorrow, but my phone was messing up. Because I got a dumb smartphone. It's only as smart as the person using it. So, but I got too much stuff on my phone. But whatever you guys got going on, let us know. And definitely, if you're looking for dope artists, let us know. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Anything y'all want to say before y'all leave? Any shout outs or anything? No.
I was gonna say. Honestly, just thank you so much.
Okay.
This is really special to come on, especially a community-led podcast radio station. It's really amazing. We were both fans of our university radio station, and so
we were just there earlier.
Small radio station girlies. Yeah, and I spoke with SFU Radio yesterday, so I'm like really enjoying the.
Oh, you was there yesterday? Okay. Yeah. So hopefully y'all go again.
I was also gonna say, like, outside of Has capacity, if you guys ever need any help, like, I would be happy. I don't know what I can help with, but I have a marketing degree.
Period.
Definitely.
We wanted to do like a hip hop celebration, like on the birthday of hip hop, like a block party type event in the summer, and we wanted to kind of try and do it here and like fundraise for these guys. But maybe we could do like fundraise for you guys too, and you know what I mean. Like we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
There's been an idea that we tried to get going for last summer, couldn't quite.
I'll just
get it
I'll
together.
just say, like, right now I'm hoping a friend fundraise for a film. So I do this. I can't swear. Staying outside of
You can swear. I cuss all the time.
Okay, I do. Well, I already said it, but
real fundraising icon right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's a lot
Contact.
we're trying to do. We want to do a docu-series about. Originally, it was going to be about Vancouver hip hop, starting from when Northern Touch dropped. So that was like Vancouver's hip hop group at the time back then, and they collabed with Toronto guys, and it was kind of like the first time like Vancouver's hip hop scene got recognized. And so I was gonna my timeline I had was gonna be from there till now, so it'd be like about 1998 to now. But then this guy, he found out that that classic
So there's a
breakdancing song, Apache.
Dan 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 dum dum ta ta ta.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I do know that.
So
It's like the hip hop anthem.
yeah, it's one of them. Yeah, exactly. That's the one. Yeah. So there's about 6 different incarnations of that song. It started off as like a rockabilly, like surfer rock, 50s, like surfer rock kind of style. But then the incarnation that really hit was the Incredible Bongo Band. And that was the version that hip hop really took to. And he found out that original track, the record, was recorded here in like 1977. So that's the cool thing we have for the docu-series.
Oh my
God! Y'all thought it started here? Let's go back, and then
the studio.
There are some Vancouver things like that are really they stand out like that.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna say the studio is still here. It's just under a different name.
Right.
Yeah. So there is some deep hip hop history here already.
I don't know if this is hip hop history, but I think of Nardwuar and how he's been interviewing artists for so long.
He mentioned that he was one of the ones that mentioned that fact that I just.
Oh.
Yes.
He's been with
Something else that he said. Oh my gosh, yeah.
But he's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh,
That guy.
it's funny because I saw his photo down there today in the CITR, and I was like, why is
He
it
also
no?
just knows stuff. Like,
He'll find out stuff.
it is like, where are you?
Yeah, he'll find out like who sat beside you in grade 7.
Yeah.
No,
It'd be
fully.
scary, like.
It's not like, what are you
Yeah.
Because he gets some of the artists and they be like, hold on, bro. How you?
Like
Where
for
did you
example,
get
it'd be
this?
like him rolling up on us with that song that we recorded back in 2003
Yeah.
that never even got released, but somehow he'll have like a CD.
Yeah.
That's
That's
that's our story. Like I met him back in 2003 because I was signed to a label in Seattle. I was doing shows all up and down, and we met. We did a song with his. Yeah. And then like maybe almost 3 years ago, I'm at an Icon event and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I can feel my man looking at me and stuff. And I'm like, my spidey sense is tingling. And soon as he said, you used to go by the name Mr. Ock. And soon as he said that, I was like, I haven't heard that name in 20 years.
my.
Yeah. And just his voice, because he has this distinct voice. So I was like, and he was like, yeah, Kava. I was like, oh. So we reconnected. So I brought him on the show. And my wife, and I was already thinking it, but when I got home, my wife was like, man, y'all got good chemistry. And he's got a radio voice. So I was like, yo, would you like to co-host? Wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So how everything lines up. Like you were saying about school. And everything lines up. Yeah. At divine alignment. Yeah. So
with that in mind, I was also going to say about the docu-series, I could totally see where you guys would be a wealth of like information just for Vancouver musical
history.
You know what I mean? Like being able to tie like Jimi Hendrix's family into that, like it predates
just the jazz alley. Yeah.
And we are currently working. We actually failed to mention this, but we're working on a community archive right now.
I was gonna say something else.
So it would be very interesting to see how we could maybe put you in touch, like if you, I know it sounds like you have a wealth of history of your own.
Yeah.
But maybe put you in touch with the project lead. So because we're, like I said, oral history is such a huge part, and what we're doing right now, we just learned that what the hell.
Yeah. Also, Canadian Black Music Archives. This sounds very up there our alley. Doing amazing stuff.
That too,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like I said.
Yep. CBMA.
So like I said, anything y'all got going on, let us know. We down to support. And I got a bunch of shows this month, but if I don't have any shows and y'all got something coming, going on, I'm there. Me and the missus, or she might just be like, she get tired of me sometimes, so she might just be like, you go ahead. But once again, thank you so much. And, it feels good to see the younger generation grinding and doing things, positive things. Because a lot of times, too, we hear the negative stuff. But no, there's good people out there trying to make things happen. And I know a lot of times you probably feel like you don't get, it's hard. You feel like you're going at it alone, especially independent, grassroots, So we were just talking about that earlier about how sometimes, man, like you said, you got to bet on yourself. You got to have that deep within because there's going to be times where you're like, man, I thought you was my people. You're not supporting me on this. And you just got to keep going.
That's the hardest part, man.
But so I think that's it. Anything you wanna come up and say?
I'm pretty good, man.
Well, that is it for Beyond the Lyrics. Thank you, Miss Selter.
Yes.
And Aisha. Hogan Alley Society. So any social handles people can reach you at?
Yes. Instagram and TikTok at Hogans.alley. And then Facebook and LinkedIn, Hogan's Alley Society.
There it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Van City. Peace.
Hogan's.alley.
Take a photo too, I can't lie. Yeah, Hogan's.alley.
Hogan's. Oh, let me do it with the light here.